We have the magnificent Ben Moor behind us, still with snow on it, and we're heading this way. Conditions, smooth 𝕰𝖆𝖕. It's not going to be a difficult canoe trip today, but we're off to see a castle.
Julie just got a wee bit excited. She found some bones.
Yay! Now you find the rest of it. Oh my god, I think I found the mother lode! Yay! It's the whole skull. Wow! I've something to put the horns on now. Taken an impromptu stop along the river between the lochs, as we've seen a rather impressive but unfortunately abandoned building. Tell me who would leave here without being forced. Is that not the best view ever from a wee front window? Not sure in the light whether you can see the twinkle and the sparkle, but the river definitely sparkles. There's a lot of silica in that river. On top of the stunning view of Ben Moor, not the hippie with the camera, this little house clearly had a byre at the side for the animals, and I can hear water. Yeah, a lovely natural water supply. Who would ever want to leave here? The reality of the situation was a lot of people didn't choose to leave, they were forced. This particular glen was under government occupation quite strongly after the Battle of Culloden. There is a settlement further down the road that was cleared, 𝕯𝖓𝖈𝖍. Unfortunately, there's a lot of forestry works at the minute, so I'm not going to bother going up there. And you may ask, when people are cleared off their land, would there not be condemnation? Basically, the local lairds were the ones responsible for voting ministers in at that stage. So a minister worth his job and wanting to keep his job wasn't going to kick up a fuss, unfortunately. That was an impromptu stop. I promise the next one's going to be the castle, but it is quite a regular thing that wherever we go, people have been cleared before us. Right, back to the canoe. Slight fail on the Castle Dochart front. The water is so shallow that we're actually sitting, not moving anywhere. We're on the bottom. The bottom of the loch is like sinking sand, so if we stand in it, we're probably going to be waist deep and not get back out. We can understand why people don't walk out to it when the water's low, because you wouldn't make it out to the castle. But this is Castle Dochart, and it was one of Sir Duncan Campbell, also known as Black Duncan of the Castles. And once we get the canoe out of this muddy car park, I'll tell you a story. You can't really see, because it's such a glorious sunny day, how shallow the water is. But how shallow is the water, Martin? That's why we're not attempting to stand on it. Right, we shall take in the stunning views, and as we're heading back down the river, we'll let Martin paddle and I can tell you the story. So Loch Dochart is fed that direction by the River Fillen, and it heads on down this way to the River Dochart and the whole way to the River Tigh, which takes it to the east coast. So logistically, this was a very sensible place for Mr. Campbell to build one of his homes. It was a fortified dwelling, so not really a castle, but he still named it a castle. It is the site of what's presumed to be an earlier religious house that was probably linked to St Fillan's further up the road. I'll put a wee link to a video. We went to St Fillan's Priory a couple of winters ago. The loch here also has a story of a healing pool. Clearly not here with the rank mud that we've been trying to drill through, but the location of it is unknown, but it was said to have cured madness instantly. It ceased to be a healing pool when a farmer took a mad cow down to it one day to give it a bathe. Sir Duncan Campbell was the son of Sir Colin Campbell, the Grey. Duncan was knighted in and around 1590 on the occasion of the king's marriage. Like I said before, he would become known as Black Duncan, and we will eventually see why. But when his father died, he inherited Culloden, which again we have been to. I'll stick a link below. And also 𝕯𝖓𝖈 Castle, which I'll put a picture up now. Over the course of his life, he did improve Culloden. He built 𝕯𝖓𝖈𝖍, which again, there's a picture up of it, and also 𝕰𝖝𝖕𝖕𝖊. It was through trickery that he also acquired 𝕮𝖃𝑙𝖑𝖓𝖓. I'll put some footage of it now. He took that from the Fletchers, but apparently there was quite dodgy circumstances involved. All this he achieved at the young age of 41. So in that time, he extended his reach from 𝕯𝖓𝖈 in Perthshire right across to 𝕯𝖃𝑙𝖑 on the coast of Argyll. 100 miles worth and nearly 500,000 acres of land he was in control of. He was really quite ruthless, and he actually orchestrated the murder of Campbell of Culloden in order that he might become head of the clan. Though despite murderous intent and various, shall we say, land grabbing exercises, he did manage to stay on the good books of both the English and the Scottish monarchy at the time. Just had another wee stop, and why not? It is such a glorious day. Yeah, canoe's parked up, it's not going anywhere. So Duncan Campbell died on the 23rd of June 1631 in the final castle that he built, 𝕊𝖈𝖔𝖈. That's another castle for another day though. He was buried in the family chapel mausoleum.
What you got?
I think that one's mica, so it's quite bronzy looking.
It's unusual when it's got iron in it. There's pyrite around here though. There's a lot of pyrite around here.
Well, apparently people used to pan for gold on this river.
Well, 𝕮𝖃 goldmine's not far. It's just up the road a wee bit.
Sorry, I don't think it's gold, but...
No, I don't think that's gold, no.
I think those are deer pits. Oh, and look. I would say that's otter over there, so the wee scratchy claws.
Oh, one's a wee
definitely not a dog, it's too big, or too wee,
Yeah.
and gentle and light. I will say the castle was a complete disaster. Hey ho. It's an absolutely stunning place to come out in a canoe or a kayak. Unfortunately, you do have to listen to the motorbikes. The motorbikes are not deterring the wildlife, however. We have seen buzzards, heron, mallards, swans. We've seen, obviously,
I'm not just filming your boobs, by the way. There is actually wildlife on.
we have either way, and obviously we've seen evidence of otters and deer so far. It's quite a place, plus lots of small fry and bigger fry after the small fry in the river. Yeah, it's quite cool. I quite like here, even though I'm covered in mud. The house was built as a tower house, but there was a jail pit underground, which unfortunately we couldn't see today. But perhaps in the winter, when there's more water in the loch, we'll go out to it. To be honest, the way the water level's going, I don't think it's going to be an island for very much longer. When Duncan passed away in 1631, his son Robert took over the ownership of the castle and the island, and then the War of the Three Kingdoms kicked off. Robert was a strong practicing Covenanter and a supporter of the Scottish government. So unfortunately the castle became under attack. In 1646, the royalist commander MacNab burnt the castle down. It then lay ruinous until we see it today. It was consolidated in the late 19th century, but remains pretty much untouched from the fire. This glen is also 𝕯𝖓𝖈𝖍 territory, and there are local tales of him about the castle, but judging by the ruinous state it was in, I think they're more in the realms of folklore. 87 small copper coins from Charles II's reign were found in the castle. Obviously that postdates the fire, so somebody did leave a stash there. I wonder, was it 𝕯𝖈𝖍? So how did Duncan Campbell get the name Black? Apart from the way he ruthlessly treated his clansmen to try and get superiority. It is said he wore a black cap and he had very black hair, but there's more to it than that. It's well documented the cruelty that Duncan Campbell exerted on folk that weren't even his relatives. When 𝕰𝖝𝐴𝐴𝐿 was getting built, a construction worker was admonished as Campbell believed he hadn't built the parapet properly. The construction worker walked around the parapet to ensure that it could be walked on, and Duncan threw him off the roof to his death halfway round. It is said that that construction worker can be seen walking the parapet on the castle. Who knows? 𝕊𝖈𝖍 was the last castle he constructed, and he died there. It was the family home at the time. Even the building of 𝕊𝖈𝖍 was interesting. The first thing that was constructed on the castle was a beheading pit. I don't know whether it was maybe for builders that would mess up on them again, but that's how Sir Duncan Campbell became Black Campbell of the castles. Motorbikes. Why? It's 1, 2, 3. So Sir Duncan was the son of Grey Campbell, and I can't no, just no. So beastie. Try again. On the occasion of the king's coronation. No, it wasn't. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, like and leave me a comment below. It really helps the channel. If you would like to subscribe, you'll catch me on my next adventure, and feel free to join me on Facebook and Instagram, both of the same name, Exploring Scotland's History. Thanks for watching.